Welcome to BizTech Forward, your go-to podcast for cutting-edge insights at the intersection of business and technology. Let's move forward together.
Welcome back to BizTech Forward. I'm your host, Anni, and today's episode is all about something that can make or break any project, understanding what clients really want. What do clients really want from their tech partners these days? How is that different from 5 to 10 years ago? And maybe the biggest question of all, how can companies keep pace? To discuss this, I'm joined by Olesya Khokhulia, VP of Global Enterprise Accounts at DataArt. She's been in the industry for over 20 years, working closely with enterprise clients across different industries. So she has loads of experience, and actually she has a front row seat to these changes. Olesya, such a pleasure to have you on the show. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Anni, thank you for introduction. Glad to hear you again, and let's start.
Olesya, with so much experience that you have, many questions we can ask you, but let's start with the basics, I guess. So you work with a lot of different companies across different industries, and from your perspective, on the high level, how have client expectations shifted in the last 5 to 10 years?
Well, it's a tricky question, and I'll explain you why. So usually when customer comes to a vendor or partner with a request, he wants to accomplish one of two goals. First goal is basically get revenue faster. So get revenue acquisition metric faster. From the other perspective, sometimes customers come and say, okay, we probably do not focus on revenue acquisition speed for the moment, or we are not focusing on transforming our business, but we really want to optimize our business as usual operations, right? So we are more focusing about on efficiency. Sometimes it's a combination of these two areas. So what was it the same like 10 years ago? I would say yes. Did different factors influence these two processes 10 years ago? I would say yes. They were quite similar to what we have at the moment. I mean, everyone keeps saying market is tough. My religion tells me market always was tough, to be honest. So never changed from that perspective. From another perspective, everything becoming faster. So speed becoming is a key factor. And customer expect this speed from vendor, from development partner, and they expect efficiency from a day one. And if you look deeper at how things happening inside, for example, enterprise customers, usually there is always room for improvement in large organization from business perspective, business process perspective, technology perspective. There are some legacy systems. There are some systems that require different approaches, some new technologies coming, and systems require some transformation. It could be merchant acquisitions that triggers the transformation. So different factors. So when customers are thinking about transformation internally, they usually think, okay, we have to have budget for that. The tricky thing is the budget is usually spread between different departments and different budgets. So it's very hard to get one budget that would sponsor or source whole transformation process. So first, you have to identify what you want to transform, whether it's optimization for business as usual processes or it's some innovation program. And after that, you have to come to alignment between different stakeholders within your organization. And it may take ages. Ages. So, but imagine this miracle happen. You got a budget. Then you choose a development partner. You want to choose a development partner. You want to start your project. So logically, what you would expect from a development partner? First of all, you would expect efficiency from a day one, right? Because you made a commitment in front of your peers. You made a commitment in front of your stakeholders that you will achieve the results and your transformation or your optimization will bring a quick return on investment. So you want to prove efficiency from the day one. to start showing the results to multiple interested parties within your organization. Second, you want some flexibility, because even if you were planning everything and you understand how this transformation should be done within your organization, which is never the case, to be honest, but still, even in this ideal scenario, you can't plan everything, right? So you require some flexibility and some what's called skin in the game from your development partner. So if some challenge appear or some unpredictable things that you didn't count happen, you expect that your partner will be truly a partner to you and be in good times and bad times together with you. Some proactiveness, because usually such transformation are quite complex. And you expect speed, because while you get this budget, while you get basically some alignment internally that yes, this should be a goal for nearest future to transform the business, optimize the business. You have to understand that it may change every second, because speed of all the processes around us right now are extreme, right? So you can't plan really long term. Even you need for some transformation or for some project. That's why speed becoming a key factor. So answering your questions, Anni, was it the same like 10 years ago? Were those factors like important? Yes, they were. But speed and complexity setting new standards right now. That's my vision.
Olesya, thank you so much for painting such a detailed picture. That really helps. I have a potentially ignorant follow-up question, but since speed is so important and efficiency is so important, clients expect, everything to go lightning fast. But at the same time, it takes ages to get budgets approved. So
you see a contradiction here.
Yeah. And I wonder, was it a bit easier back in the day with budget-wise, at least? Has it become more difficult to approve? But are there more departments now, and that's why it's taken ages? Budget thing interests me right now a lot.
Yeah, it's a good question, actually, Anni. I would say it was the same, but right now we definitely have new roles. For example, some companies introduce Chief Engineering Productivity Officer. So it's a dedicated role with responsibility to work on productivity and efficiency constantly, set the new standards, set KPIs, and monitor that all the initiatives under this umbrella actually bring results. Speaking about budgets, it's very different from customer to customer. There might be very conservative environment, like, for example, automotive or healthcare, where each decision requires different approvals, and it may take ages. Sometimes it may be a very formal and difficult procurement process, which add complexity to this, transformation ecosystem. But some companies are more agile. But yeah, there is a contradiction. It's actually another challenge, because which our stakeholders facing internally and which we have to respect and understand. From one standpoint, business stakeholders, they see that organization requires some project or transformation to happen. Otherwise, they may lose position on the market. They may not prove their efficiency in front of stakeholders, investors, whatever, board of directors. They may not get the conversion of customers they want to have. So different factors that influence their business. So as a business people, they understand that they need this budget urgently to start the transformation. And they even may be ready internally. All the requirements are set, everything aligned, planned, but nobody can speed up the procurement process. Nobody can speed up budget allocation process inside the organization. And it's a huge challenge. It also requires some flexibility from development partners. Sometimes you may start doing something even before the whole budget is approved, right? Sometimes you may invest in some proof of technology or proof of concept to show to stakeholders that, yes, this particular program will bring benefits that were discussed before during the requirements gathering process. So you have to be partner in this process for your customer as well. Was it more formal before? Probably not, but complexity of all the processes and all the systems, as I said, was different. Right now, we have completely new standards, what is normal now. Before, our new normal would be treated as super complex.
I see. Olesya, you mentioned this intriguing new role. I love how it sounds, Chief Engineering Productivity Officer. And I wonder, have you ever worked with a Chief Engineering Productivity Officer? Like, did you have a case where somebody told you, hello, I am James, a Chief Engineering Productivity Officer?
I was working with people who didn't have that title, but basically they had such responsibilities. Several of our customers right now have this like Chief Engineering Productivity Officer. Maybe it was introduced a long time before. It was just me who were not aware about that. I don't know. But I started to see that more and more often. And it may be, the title may be a bit different. Chief Rationalization Officer, Chief Optimization Officer, Chief Engineering Productivity Officer, but they all under the same umbrella to try to understand what will make business work more efficiently, bring more value to their customers, be more profitable, because all the businesses at the end should be profitable, right? So this is the essence of this role, to focus on such things.
Yeah, I find it really interesting. And on the money topic, I wonder, how often do you hear from clients, hey, tell me about the value that you're going to bring me as a tech partner for my money? Like, how often does the value for money sentence come up in your conversations? I imagine a lot, but I don't know.
100% cases. Always. It's always like that. Again, and I can't say that it wasn't like that before. Maybe terms were different. But right now, value for money, skin in the game, flexibility, risk-sharing models, it's becoming like, again, new normal for business discussions. So I can tell you that my last probably 5 requests for proposals were all about value for money. But at some point, I've done the research. I asked my ex-customers, my network, what do they mean by value for money? Because from one standpoint, it's obvious. From another standpoint, you never know what stands really behind this expectation, right? And almost all of them, they gave me a very simple formula. It's actually results divided by costs. So it's what value for money, it's what you get for your money. And that's simple, right? Again, for different companies, devil is in details as always, because for different companies, it may be different factors that they value and or becoming priority in their strategy. And you have to understand your customer, the portrait of your customer, competitors as well. Try to propose a solution, which definitely will help them with their goals and address their concerns and address their expectations when it comes for value for money from a vendor or development.
Right. Olesya, and is there anything that you imagine that you would never have heard from a client 5 to 10 years ago, and right now you hear it a lot? Maybe something about trends, or I don't know.
Let me think.
Maybe maybe you hear a lot about buzzwords.
Yeah, I think that maybe you're right. If you're speaking about buzzwords, like I can't say 10 years ago, but maybe 7 years ago, even 5 years ago, trend was coming and it was starting from a buzzwords. Like at some point, everyone was speaking about ER. But I remember like how many times I was having this conversation with my customers and say, okay, look, guys, you have to introduce new technologies. For example, ER, it's super cool thing. Let's discuss the potential. Let's brainstorm business cases. But customers always very practical, always, especially enterprise customers. They were saying, Olesya, what about production cost of this solution? Like all these glasses, trainings, everything, supporting new models of glasses coming. At that time, it was a big issue, right? So even everyone was speaking about that, partly maybe trying to understand how it may fit their business, partly just using buzzwords to be cool, partly they're trying to allocate some budget for innovation under this umbrella. So there were different reasons for people to speak about AR/VR, but it was very difficult to put that in production. If you are looking at current trends and current buzzwords, they're all very practical. So basically, yeah, AI, for example, it also requires some preparation and transformation inside the company. But when you're ready, it's not about production cost of something, right? It's just you do it and that's it. And you immediately get the result. So I would say that what really changed over the past at least 5 years, for sure, is that new trends and new technologies started to get to the market faster. I mean, not market in terms of everyone speaking about that and everyone aware and have opinion, no, to production case.
You explained so beautifully before about the key things that tech clients need and look for in their tech partners today, and I wanted to reiterate it again for our listeners and just make sure I didn't miss anything. So you said that the most important things were speed, efficiency, flexibility, being able to give some proactive advice. And also you did mention that today you kind of have to actually be a partner rather than just a vendor, a trusted partner. So I guess other than all these things that we have just listed, I wonder if you could tell us a bit more about how important is trust, and does it also take ages to build trust? Like, is it a key thing for the tech, for the client to actually see their tech partner as a partner who they can trust, who they can rely on, or it's not that transactional?
Well, for me, business, it's always relationship. So I never seen a successful business case without successful relationship and trust behind them. So in my opinion, trust always was a key factor. And my vision is that you have to spend all your time with the customers. You have to be in their office. You have to understand how their organization is working. You should know them like as people, as your friends. You should spend time together. Even if it's formal conservative environment, when sometimes it's not allowed to have like informal communications with the partner or vendor, still, even here, you have to build relationship, because at the end, it's always what brings better results rather than just, vendor customer relationship without real people behind them. So I would say trust is the most important thing, but you have to prove yourself. This is what competition is about, right? There are many good companies, and I always respect the competition. There are many good companies that basically may do the same. They may be a very successful development partner for a particular customer, but at the end, it's just a matter of chemistry, whether you have a chemistry with stakeholders, company, product of the company, their mission, so their culture, if you want. If you have really many common factors and common beliefs, if you want, then you will be successful in this cooperation. That's my philosophy, at least.
Right. So many things to unpack here. But Olesya, I'm very curious, like spontaneously now, what you think about, since we're on the topic of trust, also the topic of responsibility. Do you think that you can like outsource responsibility? Like, can clients today kind of just simply count on their vendors or tech partners to just get things done, and they can just chill and relax and know everything is under control? Or is it like a two-way street where clients also have to be involved in like manage the program, or none of it is that simple. But I wonder really, like, can they just outsource responsibility in simple words?
Imagine a situation. You are development partner and you are getting a request saying, guys, we want you take full responsibility of our business. Is it possible? Are you able to do that? First of all, it sounds suspicious, right? Why? But answering seriously to your question, if you didn't have any sort of cooperation with this customer before, and customer is coming to you and saying, guys, can you do everything for me? And I want just to be basically receiver of the results. In my opinion, even if the vendor would agree to that, they would fail. It's not possible. I always respect the complexity. I always think that you have to know, as I said before, you have to have this chemistry, you have to have relationship, you have to understand how customer organization is working, what is their culture, how the engineers think, what their constraints. So all these, details which you can't just get without cooperating with each other for many years and meeting in person like many, many times. So I would say that if you're working with a customer for 5+ years, delivering together large programs in different roles, sometimes it may be just team extension, sometimes you may play key role, or sometimes you may be product owner, program manager there, or have architects who developing the system from scratch. So different roles. And at some point of time, after this 5+ years of cooperation, customer comes to you and say, look, guys, can you take more responsibility? Not all responsibility for the result, but more responsibility. You probably may say yes. Yes. And again, there should be right governance model. For me, it's like kind of joint venture, when stakeholders from both sides responsible for results. They know how they measure the result, what is the fast-fail criteria if they need them, what their long-term and short-term goals. Sometimes they have responsibility for the results or risk-sharing model, something like that. Then it may work. I've seen such cases. We do such cases. And at the end, it's what's called strategic partnership.
Right. Oh, it makes so much sense now. It doesn't have to be all responsibility. It can be more responsibility. Okay.
Yeah, it's exactly about it. So it's a level of responsibility and understanding the customer organization. And over the time of cooperation, when you get this knowledge and when you basically confidently may say, yes, guys, I will not disrupt your business. I will make your business better together with you. But still, it's your business. We respect that it's your business. We respect the complexity of your organization. We respect history of your organization, the political environment, if you want. So with all this respect, you can get more responsibility, but you never can take all responsibilities.
Oh, great answer, actually. Responsibility, trust, proactiveness, honesty, feedback, which makes me wonder, Olesya, does it happen a lot that you interact with the client and they ask the tech partner to do one thing and then turns out they actually need something completely different? And if so, is it like the best kind of manner or etiquette would be to be honest with your client, even if it means losing money?
I mean, honesty is just, for me, it's a part of a professional approach, because what you need to do, you have to solve some customer business issues, pains, transform organizations, support the optimization of some processes, or you help customer achieve their goals, right? For example, customer comes to you and say, look, we want to play with new technologies. We even got a budget for that. We got innovation budget. Our stakeholders really want us to show a business case using AI, for example, right? This is the most typical case nowadays. What you can do, you can say, yeah, sure, what's your business case? Or even brainstorm business case together, right? After that, when you start looking what's really happening with data, for example, in customer organization, you may find out, and this is a real case, it's happened with us all the time, most typical one. You understand that they are not ready. The data is not ready for introducing AI. So they can't jump over one step. They have to do their homework before start some further automation optimization, right? And we always say, guys, you're not ready. As simple as that. You never invent, some some arguments why we can't do AI at the moment. We just say it's straightforward. You're not ready. You have to do this data project first. After that, brainstorm business cases, and after that, we'll do a proof of technology or anything you want. But before step one, step two will be just waste of money. So we honestly say that, and customer really appreciate honest feedback usually. Never seen a case where customer said, "Oh, I didn't expect such result." They always say, "Guys, super. Thank you for saying that at the moment. I didn't spend some time and money of my team and without any results, which I will not be able to prove in front of the stakeholders further."
And Olesya, an extra thank you for mentioning this magical word that I wanted to ask you about just now, which is data.
Which one?
Data.
Data. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like we need to talk about data a little bit because that's all I hear, or that's all the media requests that I monitor have to do with data one way or another. So everybody who says they want to be and they have to be data driven, data is non-negotiable these days, and I'm sure it's true. But I just want to hear what you think in terms of what does it mean for enterprise clients?
It's definitely mainstream, and if you would ask me what budget enterprise customer spent on data and analytics project, I would say 30% nowadays, or even more. So all the customers doing something with data. It's very much depends on maturity of their organization. Of course, some just start this journey, some already refine this journey, and they introduce further automation, rationalization, everything, so to make organizations more efficient. But it definitely a trend. So everyone expects the data to become actionable. Even the documents should become actionable. I remember I was having a conversation with one of our customers maybe 2 years back, and they said to me, "Olesya, we have to introduce very modern loyalty program." I said, "Okay." And to increase the conversion of customers, I said, "Okay." And we started to brainstorm what it might be. But after that, I said, "But okay, what is the base? What data will we use? Why do you think that this will increase conversions?" They said, "We really don't know because we have tons of data and nobody analyzes them." I said, "Yeah, so it's another example of honest feedback, and the customers are not ready for some projects." I said, "Yeah, but then probably we have to switch the topic and talk about data, because building loyalty programs or some other programs without understanding what is the base and what is the history and what trends do they have inside the organization, it's just waste of money again, right?" So that's why I think when everyone understands the importance of AI automation, efficiency nowadays, data becoming a key factor, because it's base for everything. Even us, look at our organization. We also basically going through the same transformation. We're also a global organization, 30 plus locations, right? Very complex structure, distributed teams, tons of data that we historically gathered but nobody analyzed. Some processes are more mature, some less mature. We are the same. We are also enterprise, and we're also going through this transformation and started getting insight from our historical data. And sometimes you think that some decisions are very obvious, but when you look deeper at what your data brings you, you understand that you were wrong. I had that multiple times in my career when I thought that, okay, I know everything about this organization, but then, you look at figures and you understand that you were completely wrong. and your sense of the situation was incorrect. That's why I think that this is super important. I'm a mathematician by education, so for me, data and figures and numbers is the most important thing, except relationship.
So relationships and
Yeah.
data.
Relationship and data. Yeah. That's my motto.
Nice. Alesya, just want to, before we wrap up, look into the future a little bit. Where do you think this all is going? By this all, I mean, what do you think enterprise clients might be expecting more of in the future? Is it like more trust and more speed and more data, or just to kind of speculate?
I would say enterprise customers and all other customers would always expect stability from development partner. This is one of the key factors that we didn't discuss, but it's becoming more and more important. And again, there is a contradiction because speed, complexity, everything that's happening around us right now, it doesn't look very stable, right? But at the end, customer expects stability from development partner. But also what they expect, I think they expect that development partner can shape their ideas. And I will try to explain what I mean. And maybe it's also a difference with what happened like in the industry even 5 years back, right? Before, customers were coming with a particular request, which was already shaped inside their organization. Right now, again, getting back to formal budgeting process, speed, competition, sometimes they even don't have budget or time to shape their idea. They have a feeling that may transform their organization and make it more profitable, for example, that project. Let's imagine a project, right? But they don't have capacity or budget to describe that or make a proof of technology or proof of idea. So usually right now, they're coming to a development partner and say, look, guys, can you somehow help us to brainstorm this idea? Can you be a moderator if you want? Can you provide us options from your experience, what's available on the market, what you've seen in different cooperations with different customers? Maybe it will give us some new ideas. Also, can you look at our data together with us, right? And try to understand what we see there, what might be actions that trigger different projects, right? So my colleague and your colleague actually once said to me, Olesya, right now customers expect not just conversations, but conversations about conversations, which is really, really true. And I continue reminding myself when I'm speaking with the customers or dealing with customer requests that they expect conversations about conversations. In DataArt, we have like consultants who can support such conversation, help customers to shape their idea. We have different frameworks that can support this process. But in essence, I think it will be a trend that development partners and vendors should be prepared to work on next abstract level. And it's also support the same evolution of complexity, right? So new normal will be on more abstract levels than it's now. And it's definitely on more abstract levels than it was 5 years back.
Olesya, thank you so much. It was really a great pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you, Anni. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
And this is a wrap for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, share, like, and tell us what you think. Reach out to us at biztechforward@dataart.com. That's all for today, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to BizTech Forward. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and share to help us reach more listeners. Thank you for being part of the conversation. See you next time.